Hey yo, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be doing what if Deku had the Omnitrix. This is going to be the first part. Should only be around like 10 to 15 minutes. The next part will be longer. The main reason it's going to be so short is because I've been up since when 1 o'clock yesterday and 7:35 a.m. I haven't slept yet. I was distracted. I was watching YouTube, so yeah. Now I am kind of tired, you know. Anyways, let's just get into things, to be honest. So story starts off with the birth of a young Deku. He seems extremely ordinary, because he is. And his parents are like, he seems awfully over ordinary, doesn't he? And Inko would agree with Hiyashi when he says this, and Inko would be like, I hope he develops a quirk. I want to retire early. And so his life is basically normal until he reaches the age of 5. His quirk still hasn't awakened, and he goes to the quirk doctor with Inko, where the quirk doctor is like, you got an extra joint in your toe, which typically means you will not develop a quirk. And so Inko's just like, there goes retiring early. And Inko and Hiyashi end up being really sad, and Deku just sees this. He's like, is it because I don't have a quirk? Am I the reason they're so sad? And Deku will start feeling really bad about it. And things will stay the same. Deku will get bullied at school. He'll feel really bad for not having a quirk. And he'll just grow up like that until he reaches about, let's say, the age of 14. When one day Bakugo beats Deku really, really badly. And so Deku decides he's going to end it all. After Bakugo tells him to swan dive. And as Deku is about to jump, he notices something. He's looking up at the sky and he sees this strange light coming down at an extremely fast rate. And that's when he's about to just ignore it and walk off. That light actually was apparently coming towards Deku. It hits Deku straight on the arm and wraps around his arm. He notices his arm hurts a lot. I'm gonna make the Omnitrix like integrated, so kind of like a hardening quirk or something, so it like comes out when Deku activates it to come out, and so then he can switch his form or whatever. So it hits his arm really tightly and it starts absorbing into it. Oh damn, I didn't mean to stop the blood flow of my own arm while doing animations for that. Anyways, it absorbs into his arm and he's in excruciating pain. When he's about to fall, and he accidentally like kind of flexes his arm, which causes the thing come out, and he accidentally kind of turns it as he's falling. When he turns into this like flying type creature thing, and he ends up flying back up, and then he ends up just going down the staircase. He's just like, huh? And then like he decides to flex his arm, and he looks at his arm, and there's a weird watch thing. He's like, what? So what is this? Oh, what's with all these lines? Is this turnable? And then he turns it towards the right, which brings him back. No, towards the left, which brings him back to his human form. He's like, what the hell? What's going on? I don't understand. And Deku continues to be confused about this, but he ends up deciding he's gonna leave it alone for now. He's had a long day. He had hit his limit mentally, and honestly, he just wanted a break. So he goes home, and he ends up just going to lie down. He goes to sleep. He wakes up the next morning feeling genuinely refreshed. And that's a Saturday morning, so everything that happened the previous day was a Friday. The next morning is Saturday, and he's just like, I want to find out more about what this is. And he flexes his arm again, and it's there. And I don't know if I've been saying Naruto, but this is supposed to be Izuku. I'll have to check. Anyway, Izuku is just like, what the hell? I do apologize if I have been saying Naruto this entire time, though. And so Izuku, he goes into the forest, and he's just sitting there, and he's trying to figure out what the hell's happening. And he keeps turning it in like different ways, and he's just like, And he turns it like 2 over, and suddenly he's this big muscular red thing with 4 arms. He's just like, whoa, how strong am I? And then he puts all 4 arms on a tree and rips it out of the ground and slams it down. And then he turns it back. He's just like, oh, I'm very strong, actually. Wow, I gotta learn more about these powers. And so another week goes by of Deku trying to figure everything out when something very similar to the previous Friday happened this Friday again. However, this time on his way home, the sludge villain attacks Izuku. And as it's getting on him, he turns it 3 over and he becomes a torch. He becomes a torch alien. And it burns this sludge villain who jumps off of him. And then he turns it back, and that's when All Might's just like, I am here. And he hits the sludge villain. And Izuku is still a huge fan, so he still does everything he did in canon. And the sludge villain ends up escaping. And that's when All Might runs out of his form. He looks at Izuku. Izuku looks at him. He's just like, I'm sorry, I made you lose the sludge villain. And All Might is like, it's okay, young man. And so Izuku looks at him and he's just like, I believe until like a week ago I was quirkless. Until something interesting happened, and I don't know. And then Izuku looks at All Might, he's just like, I want to know if you've seen a quirk like this before. And so Izuku pulls out his arm, he puts it out, he flexes it, and All Might sees like this watch thing come out. And All Might's like, okay. And that's when All Might loses his form, he's back to small Might form, and Izuku's like, who are you? And All Might is just like, it's me. Sorry about this. I have an injury, and I can't keep my form for too long. And then he starts panting like, anyways, he's like, continue, young Midoriya. Because Izuku has told him his name by then. And Izuku turns it, becomes this weird like bat wing thing. And All Might's like, what? Then he turns it again, becomes a big red guy with 4 arms. Then he turns it one more time, it becomes the Human Torch alien thing. And All Might's just there, he's dumbfounded. He's like, what is this power? It's very interesting. And then he looks at Izuku, he's like, go back to your normal form. And Izuku is like, okay. And then he turns it back to his normal form. And All Might's like, you are an interesting young man. I'd like to figure out more about you, to tell you the truth. And so, I, young Midoriya, will train you. Anyways, for the time being, I have to go back after the sludge villain, catch him. And that's when they separate. They end up finding Bakugo being attacked by the sludge villain. All Might still doesn't have his big form back yet, so he's still in small Might form, unable to do anything. That's when Izuku sees this, he turns it, he goes into Human Torch one, and he flies in, switches to big red arm guy, grabs Bakugo, pulls him out, and then jumps backwards and lays him down. And that's when he'll switch to the bat one and get out of there before the wood guy, Kamui Wood, could catch him. And so Izuku escapes, and All Might's just like, well done, young man. I cannot wait to train you. And honestly, I know this is a very short part, but I think this is where I'm going to end it. I'm going to do 10 months after and the entire UA exams and everything. After this part, it's just I really wanted to get a what if out to you guys along with the ranking video, because I haven't been able to post much since I'm really working hard on this entirely scripted what if with Ono Kage. It's going to be a banger, I promise. And I really do hope you guys will end up enjoying it. Anyways, part 2 will probably be out tomorrow of this one. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!